You've done it! Congratulations! You have finished all the metalwork on your classic ride. Now the big question is, what's next? How are you going to protect it? You worked so hard on this thing. How do you preserve it for another 60, 70 years? Well, I'm going to show you how we do it. What is up, everybody? Hunter with Lost Socket Garage, and today we're going to be talking about Raptor lining and priming the inside of your car. Today we're actually going to be working on the Nugget. I know you guys are excited to see the Nugget back in the video rotation. Just basically completed all the metal work. She's a fastback now. We've got a bunch of other stuff. We'll walk you guys through the car here in just a second. But really why I wanted to do this is it's a common question we get a lot. And this is not just Ford Mustang specific. The things in this video will help you in whatever classic car or newer car that you're restoring. Whatever your project car is, this is probably going to help. Because after you do the metal work on a car like this, you want to make sure that it comes with a fly swatter. Jesus. You want to make sure that all the hard work that you've done will last another 60, 70 years. Now, a couple of ways to do this. There's actually a bunch of different products that you can use. We use Raptor lining, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to show you our process of coating the inside of this car. We're going to break it down into a couple of chapters. First off, what do you need? What products we use? What stuff you're going to need? What your prep is going to look like, taping off the car, sanding it down, etc. And then applying primer and then applying Raptor lining. So let's get into the walkthrough of what we're painting today. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar, if you haven't watched the show at all, this is the Golden Nugget. This is a one of 481 ever made coupe that we turned into a one-of-one fastback because it was not salvageable in a stock state. So we've done a lot to this car. We've done all the metal work. We're ready to start priming and thinking about paint, etc. We've done mini tubs on it from Mustangs to Fear. Put a new floor in this, new firewall, new cowl, new dash, and that's upper and lower cowl. We use the Mustangs to Fear IFS front suspension. Links for all of this stuff is going to be in the description. This one, they were kind enough to throw in free engine panels, which I will put the code in the description as well that you can use. If you get a Mustang 2 front end from Mustangs to Fear and you use the discount code, they'll give you an upgrade to full engine panels for free. So this is where it sits right now. All right, let's lead off with the why. Why should you seal your car? Well, first off, once you're done with all of the metal work, a lot of your metal is going to have like an e-coat on it, like the black stuff, or a weld-through primer on it. Typically, painters don't necessarily like to work with that as a base coat, so you'll need to go through and rough it up anyways. But the first step before you start doing body work is going to be using like an epoxy primer. Now, the primer is not necessarily like a high build or anything like that. It essentially is a sealant for the metal. Now, we use primer and then we go behind the primer and we use Raptor lining. Typically, now there's a couple of different directions you can go. You can go with a very thin product like a Pore 15. So basically you'll primer the entire inside of the car, and then Pore 15 makes a product that you could roll on or spray on or spritz on or blow on or something. I don't know, but they do make a epoxy primer, basically a rust inhibitor that you can seal the inside of your car. Now with Raptor lining, and keep in mind we're not sponsored by any of these guys, there will be a list to all of this stuff that we use in the comments below. If you go in and if you use that link, it does help out the shop a little bit, but we're not paid to promote any of these products. It's just what we use, guys. The reason that we use Raptor lining is because it's kind of a dual purpose. It's like a truck bed liner, so it's a little bit thicker. You can thin it out with the activator that they give you can actually thin the product out more, but it does lay on a little bit thicker. Now, two things this does. First off, it actually seals in the metal so that no water gets in, no rust, and it's also kind of a rubbery coat, so that kind of fills in all the little gaps, etc. But secondly, it actually kind of has a tendency to be a little bit of a sound deadener. So I'll do a sound test here. I might have done this before, but I'll do a sound test here on a quarter panel before and after, just so that you guys can hear. Okay, here's a quarter panel. No liner on the inside. Let's do it back here. Okay, do a little knock test. Sounds hollow. And let's compare it to now. Now, technically, yes, you can do Raptor lining straight to bare metal. You scuff up the metal and basically send it, but that's not really how we do things here. We want to make sure that it has a nice epoxy coat on the entire inside. It has something to bond to. And then with the primer that we're using, we actually have quite a bit of time before we have to spray the Raptor lining. So let's get into the stuff that you're actually going to need to pull this off. Okay, so the first things that you're going to need is PPE. Like just my gloves and safety glasses, right? This is not a good respirator for painting, but it's a good respirator to start off with and do your sanding, etc. Get an actual paint respirator. I have one of those, but I have to go buy another one. So I guess I really don't have one of those, but I'm going to get one of those before I actually spray. Gloves, I'm bougie, I use 7mm. Goggles, that's basic stuff here, kids. Next thing that you're going to need for prep is going to be plastic. Now this stuff, I'll be honest, I don't really know what this is. It came in an Amazon pallet, because I flip Amazon pallets, but it works. But you can get the paint resistant plastic, etc. from any body shop. You'll need something to be able to tape off the doors, windows, etc. Along with that, you're also going to need painter's tape. So again, that you can tape off all of your area as well as like all of your bolt holes, etc. After, technically you sand before and then you clean and then you prep, etc. But afterwards, you're going to have to scuff up the entire area of what you're actually painting. So there's a couple of routes. We just use 80 grit sandpaper. You can also, I've been told that the red Brillo pads work really well. That works on the outside of your car as well if you're just scuffing up an e-coat. That works. I just like to use the sandpaper a little bit more because a lot of times the cars that we deal with are dealing with new metal on top of old metal. So it kind of helps me get a little bit more of if there's like surface rust, etc. Orbital sander, pretty dope, pretty helpful. I end up hand sanding the most of the times. So the Durablocks, like you can get these Durablock kits for fairly cheap. They're pretty much everywhere. But again, I'll put all the links down below. Okay, now I'll go through the sanding stage, etc. here in just a second, but after you're done sanding and prepping your car, you want to hit it, you want to clean it out. Okay, now there are a couple of different routes you can go. You can just buy a thing of Prep-All. You're going to spray the car out first off with air, and then you're going to wipe down the whole damn thing, everything that you're spraying. Make sure that you get in all the corners, clean it out real good, hit it with Prep-All on some rags, and that's going to be essentially your paint prep. If you are going to be keeping your car as bare metal for a little while, we actually recently found this metal prep product that's like an etching product that will kind of lays like a white coat over your bare metal so that it doesn't rust anymore. I'll show you a good example. We actually used it on the engine panels on the Nugget. You can see here. So that leaves this kind of like white behind, but I know that after wiping it on, so essentially you put it on, you take a wet rag and then you wipe it off very lightly, and it leaves this coat so that no surface rust will form. It is a metal etch product though, so it does clean as well, so you can use that. Now for paint, oh look at this. Oh look at what happened. Is that product placement? That could be product placement. Get your never tamed 10mm keychain, because you always lose a 10mm, or if you're working on Mustangs, half inch, but and drop a half-inch socket on here, it's it's all taken care of. 10mm socket and the never tamed keychain, link in the description, helps support the shop. Thanks. Now the paint that we're using an epoxy primer. This is a CRE 921 by PPG. I'll be honest, guys, I'm not a painter. I don't know a whole lot about chemicals and sciencey stuff. I basically walked into the paint store and there was a rep for the PPG paint company place thing there, and she was pretty. And I was talking to a different guy. I was like, hey, I'm going to put Raptor lining on this car. What's a good epoxy primer that you guys would recommend? And she's like, oh, you just got to get the CRE 921. And anytime a pretty lady starts spitting out part numbers at me, I stop listening. So I missed a lot of what is cool about this.
Camshafts.
But I know it's very, very highly rated, and it's just an epoxy primer. It's going to be a little bit thicker than like a normal epoxy primer, but you can lay it up to a lot higher thickness. I don't remember how thick, so we're going to hit the entire inside of the car with this epoxy primer, and most likely eventually we're going to hit the entire car with the epoxy primer as a nice sealant and base coat. Now to the star of the show, Raptor lining. Now there's a bunch of different products out there. We used to use lizard skin. That was pretty cool. There's a ton of different like truck bed liner products out there. We use Raptor Liner. Again, we're not sponsored by them. We're not dealers for them or anything like that. We'll give you an affiliate link in the description. We just use it because we like it. Comes with a gun. The measurements that I've done is you'll need, I believe, 6 bottles for the inside of your Ford Mustang Fastback. About 6 bottles, and then I believe it's 8, but I'll check in with that and put it on screen or whatever. About 8 for the underneath of the car. So you'll need a couple of kits, but if you go on Amazon, they sell it for a couple of $100, and it comes with the gun. Use any normal air setup, and essentially gives you everything. It's a really easy thing to do. Now, the devil's on the details on this, so the next part we're going to be doing, we've already sanded down the car. What we're going to be doing is actually cleaning out the car and then prepping it with masking tape, as well as blocking off the windows and all that good stuff. Let's get it. Now, we get asked a lot here at Lost Socket Garage, Hunter, where do you get all your parts? Well, it originally was kind of a complicated answer. We are dealers for a major metal stamping company. However, recently we've developed a relationship with CJ Pony Parts, and part of the reason is we found ourselves ordering everything else from them. So for example, all of our interior pieces, our trims, our Ride Tech 4-link suspensions. They even make stuff for like Broncos and newer Mustangs, but we don't really give a shit about those things. We like classic Mustang stuff. We even get all of our metal pieces for our conversion kit at CJ Pony Parts now. Now, part of the reason for that originally was they actually sell stuff that I can't find other places. Let's use Dolly here as an example. Now, chances are if you pull the carpet up on your classic Mustang, it's going to look something like this. Now, Dolly is in great condition, but no matter how good a condition a car is in, a lot of times you're going to have rust in this area. So instead of just buying a full floor and a full firewall to cut out exactly what you need, CJ Pony Parts actually sells drop-ins for the floor, but also, most importantly, they sell a floor-to-firewall patch. Now, the rust always goes up in here as well as down under the floor, and CJ Pony Parts is the only place that I've found that sells this style patch to where you can cut out exactly what you need instead of having to purchase an entire firewall just for 6 inches of rust. So if you need parts for your classic Mustang or Bronco, consider using CJ Pony Parts. And if you're like us and like to make bad decisions and work on old cars, the good news is CJ wants to save you a little bit of money. So follow the link in the description, use code LSG2025 at checkout, and they are going to save you 5% on your entire order. They always have stuff in stock, and they carry stuff that no one else does. Back to it. So this is how far we've gotten. Everything's cleaned up. It's wiped down once. I've started to put tape in. Basically, we put all the tape. We put tape in holes that are threaded, so that the paint doesn't gunk them up. But just to kind of give you a good idea of what point you need to sand it down to, it's essentially just kind of a rough scuff over everything. You don't have to get any of this epoxy primer or this weld through primer all the way off. It just needs to be scratched up really well so that the primer can stick to it. Again, same thing, this is a stock transition tunnel, but same goes for this, 80 grit sand over it, or you can use that Brillo. So this is where we're at. The next step is we want to start actually going to clean it a little bit more, and then we're going to actually start taping everything off, and we are painting the inside of the car, so we have to keep that in mind, where all of our tape is going to be on this side so that we can stick our plastic outside, or you know, whatever, you guys get it. So we're going to start taping this up and plug in threaded holes, etc., and then hopefully shoot this with paint pretty soon. All right, so we have the car all taped up, plasticed up. It's ready to go. When I jump in the car, I have like tack cloths that I'm going to hit it with. Again, this is all a little bit overboard just for interior primer and Raptor lining, but we might as well do it right. So going to clean off the inside of that for the last time, and then I'm going to jump in there with my paint gun. Now, we don't do a lot of paint here at Lost Socket Garage. We basically do epoxy primer and Raptor lining. Epoxy primer is the furthest we ever get. So I got something off of Amazon, just a HVLP, fairly cheap one, highly rated on Amazon. I got the little adapter. The reason that I needed the adapter is we use, and again, not sponsored, but I'll put some links in the description, but we use the 3M Generation 2 speed cups, and basically it comes with a disposable liner. You throw it in here. This is a 2-to-1 mix, so we throw 2 to 1 with the activator in there, and then we can just pop the lid on and then it goes into our gun like this. Now, honestly, this whole setup, hold on, I got this, I totally got this, I don't know, okay. So it goes like this essentially. This whole setup, I mean, a whole box of these things was like 150, 200 bucks. So if you're doing it in bulk, that's definitely the direction you want to go. Can you get away with just using like a Harbor Freight spray gun and you know, doing all this manually, just getting some disposable cups or getting like using the hopper? Yes, you can. This is just a little bit easier, cleaner way to do. So we have the respirator, we've cleaned everything, taped everything. Now we're going to get to painting. Issue is I can't really get a camera in there. So next thing you'll see is hopefully a primered car. Maybe I'll stick the camera in there before I throw the Raptor lining in. So gonna get into primer. All right, let's take a look at how we did. Lighting's a little bit harder right here, but we did basically 2 coats of the primer. Got the whole interior primed. I love it when everything is one color. It just makes everything look so much gooder. Not too much car yoga involved. I found that the method that worked here was to shoot underneath the dash and a little bit of the floor, a little bit of the tunnel, and then twist on my ass this way and shoot the rear of the car and the roof, and then back that ass up out, and then you got to go under the tank to get the trunk and everything, but looks great. That's one method. There's a bunch of different ways to skin this cat. This one's just the one that works for me. Who thought of that saying? But like seriously, who thought, what is the etymology of entomology? I'm having troubles with words. It's a holiday today in Utah. Only in Utah. It's Pioneer Day. It's when the dude came here and was like, "This is the place," or something. I don't really know. All right. So the product we're using today is Raptor lining. Now, this can be a direct to metal product. Again, we are not sponsored by Raptor lining. It's just the shit that we use. Really stretching those gears out right there. It's just the stuff that we use. If you buy it from the link in the description, we get like a little affiliate commission, so that's pretty dope. But yeah, we've used this many times. Now we started off with like, it's not the Nürburgring. It's not the Nürburgring, right? And it's a Hyundai Tucson. So I don't know who's putting third gear and fourth gear through its paces on this little tiny ass road, but they need to stop. Fucking TMU Jeff Gordon. We've used a bunch of different products. We used Port 15. Like I said, Port 15 is a great product. They make a rust barrier that is awesome. You can roll it on, you can spray it on. It's just a really thin product. We want something that's a little bit thicker. So this video is going to be for you guys that want to do this on the inside of your restoration. You can do it on the underside of your car. You're going to be able to do it on the bed of your truck. It does really well, and we found that the best way to apply it is to throw epoxy primer under it just to make sure that there's no chipping and blah blah, right? So it's going to take probably 4 to 6 containers to get the inside done. They come in 4 packs, so I bought 2 of them. Here's what's in the box. Now, this stuff is tintable, so you can buy like different color tint, like red or blue, or I don't know, dude. I don't tint Raptor lining, but it is an option for those of you who would want like a cool color. That'd probably be more for like your truck bed liner, etc. It comes with one thing of hardener. It comes, where is the measuring cup for the hardener? Did they cheat me a measuring cup? You bastards! Okay, so normally there's a measuring cup. Luckily, I have an extra one. This is the spray gun that it comes with, so you can buy 4 quarts and hardener with the spray gun or not. This is reusable. I like that it comes with its own gun. Honestly, like, it helps a lot. Basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix in the activator, we're gonna hook up the gun, and we're just gonna spray it over. This thing is kind of a one and done thing. We typically use like one solid coat on the inside now that we have the primer down. So let's either cut to a time lapse of me doing this in the car for a second, or we'll show you the final result. Let's get the Raptor lining. All right, we're all done. It's fast forwarded to the next day. Let's take a look. I'll put some mood lighting on for you guys. Look at you being all one color. Got it on the firewall. There's a spot I fucked up. It's right there. I could take a knife and dig that out and then just kind of respray it. Not a big deal, but so you know when you guys are holding. Actually, I'll just show you guys. It's all clean now. Basically, in the gun that's provided with the Raptor lining. It's a really solid gun, but you see that the airport right there? Airport. I had it like that, and it dripped some of the Raptor lining down. Maybe a sad panda. Much deeper sound, which means that we're not sitting in an echo chamber as much. Give you kind of an idea of the texture of this. So it's like a thin bed liner. And again, you can thin this product out to where it lays just like a thick primer. But we like having a little bit of texture to it because A, we like the look, and number 2, it adds a little bit of sound deadening. There she is, final product. All right, so what's next for the Nugget? Well, we have to hang fenders. We have to drill holes for fenders. We're going to end up Raptor lining, doing the same process underneath. Now for the Raptor liner on the inside, I ended up just doing one heavy coat. You really don't need to throw a second coat on it on the inside of your car, especially if you throw primer underneath the Raptor lining as well. Remember guys, this is just kind of a sealant as well as a little bit of sound deadening and a nice textured protective look on it. When we do the underside, we're probably going to do 2 coats. It took us 4 of these to do 1 coat on the inside, so we're probably going to be around the 6 range-ish for the underneath on both sides. So that gives you an idea of how much you guys actually need to get to totally finish your project, whether it's a truck or a resto mod or whatever it is. This is a project that's super easy. It's super straightforward, and if you take your time with the preparation, it's going to last forever for you, and it's going to look great. So again, we're not sponsored by Raptor Lining or PPG or any of the products that we've shown here today, but it does help out the shop if you follow the links in the description. If you want to get Raptor Lining or anything else, we get like a small affiliate. So I hope that this project was kind of a good walkthrough for you guys. I hope it adds value. If it does, consider liking, subscribing, doing all the algorithm stuff. If you want to support the shop a little bit further, you can check out the link in the description for merchandise. We got Lost Socket Garage, flight tags and shirts, all sorts of stuff over on our website. Until next time, do what you love, don't be a dick, and as always, never be tamed.